Hello everybody, how's it going? It's Peanut here again from the YuGiOh Yu-Gi-Oh channel. How are we all today, first of all? Hope everybody's well. I'm bringing you another deck profile today, and this one is a requested one from one of our viewers. So this is for you, Riku, and this is Prediction Princess Shaddoll. So what I will say about this deck, first of all, it is quite fun to use. There are some technical plays in here, but the combos, generally speaking, very straightforward, really easy to acquire. You just got to pick up and use the deck a little bit, and you really sort of get a feel for it. What I also will say before I get into the list and start explaining the cards to you, is there are multiple ways of building this. There's a very popular Summoner of Illusions build that summons, fusion monsters from the extra deck, which is also very effective. I just find that for consistency's plays and remaining and keeping your advantage, Shaddoll's quite a good partner for the Prediction Princess cards. So everything down here at the moment are just basically optional extras. It's not really it's not a side deck as such. It's just other cards you can use in the deck. That you have got the option for in different builds, etc. So what we're going to do then, guys, we're just going to go through the card list. Anything that's a bit here nor there I'll go into a little bit of detail with, but we're just going to try and speed through this. What I will say before I get into it all then is, if you do like the video, please hit that like button for us. We always appreciate your support. And if you do like our channel and our videos, consider subscribing to us, and you can do that either by clicking the subscribe button below the video or clicking the YuGiOh circle at the end. As always, guys, it's just so we can keep bringing you more content, more videos, more deck profiles. It's just showing your support to us, which we really appreciate, and we'd like that to continue so we can help grow this community a little bit. So without further ado, guys, we're going to get into the card list, and now I'm going to show you a few gameplays that I've played on ranked on the game. Let's see how we get on, okay? So first of all, spell cards. I'm playing 1 Book of Moon, 1 Shaddoll Fusion, 3 Pre-Preparation of Rites. Opening this is really good because you get to add a ritual spell card from your deck to your hand, and 1 ritual monster that's listed on that ritual spell card. So obviously using that to add the prediction ritual and Prediction Princess to your hand. So playing 3 pre-prep, 3 Prediction Ritual. So this is used to ritual your main Prediction Princess monster. And also, when it's in your graveyard but not the turn it was sent there, you can banish it from your graveyard, add 1 Prediction Princess from your deck to your hand, which is really useful. Just helps maintain your cards so you can keep making plays. I'm playing 3 Shaddoll Fusion with a lot of utilization of the extra deck in this game, a lot of pendulums and everything floating about as well. It's really good to have Shaddoll Fusion, because if your opponent controls the monster that was summoned from the extra deck, you can use materials from your deck as their fusion materials, which is fantastic. Otherwise, obviously, it's hand and field as usual. 2 Twin Twister, a bit of back row hate, because you don't want to get tripped up by strike or warning or anything like that. Playing 1 Quaking Mirror Force. Mixed results with this, really. It's a personal choice. It's just a fact of sometimes you need a little bit more defense, not always. And in this particular deck, I prefer it to Blazing or Drowning. I'm playing 1 Shaddoll Core. So this is a level 9 monster, as well as being a Shaddoll monster when it's activated. When it's sent to the graveyard due to a card effect, you get to add a Shaddoll spell or trap card back to your hand. So you can add back Shaddoll Fusion or Shaddoll Fusion with it. That includes sending it via a Shaddoll effect from your deck to the graveyard to add one of these back that might be in your grave, which is great. I'm using... Oh, sorry, as well as that, it's a level 9 monster. So when it's active, you can use it as your whole tribute for your ritual summon. Using 2 Solemn Strike and 1 Solemn Warning. Just small lineup for Solemn Brigade. Again, just a bit of defense, trying to stop your opponent's main plays. Just be careful about when you use them. Using 1 Blaster Soul Drain for the beginning, because even though it is an old card, and it seems a little bit more limited than it has been previously. It still hits really hard and it's a game winner. 3 Mana of the 10,000 hands, so you can add either a ritual spell card or a ritual monster from your deck to your hand when it's normal or flip summoned. And the brilliant thing about this, obviously, is the fact that there are opening plays that you can do, like summon your Prediction Princess monster, Tarot Tray, something like that. I'm not really good with the enunciation. So yeah, summon your Prediction Princess monster or summon this, either or. Like let's say they make you go first. Then normal summon this, get a search, you can flip it down with this effect, and then you can flip it up again in your opponent's turn to get another search out of it. That's if your options are quite limited. So for me in particular, the MVP of this deck, of all the flip effect monsters, is Pot of the Forbidden. So it is a level 9 monster, but you're never going to tribute it out. You usually special summon it with this, or with this. Multiple effects, so you can choose to activate one of these effects, draw 2 cards, return all spell and trap cards from the field to the hand, destroy all monsters your opponent controls, look at your opponent's hand and also shuffle 1 card from the hand into the deck. And you can only use this effect of Pot of the Forbidden once per turn. So this card is insane, because usually you can use your ritual monsters to flip it up in your opponent's turn as well. So choose one of these effects and activate them. It's a good way to control the game and control the field, which is what you want really. And it's a level 9, so again, 1 tribute for the ritual monster. And then we use 3 Prediction Princess Konoma. And the great thing about this is flip effect. Special summon 1 level 3 or higher flip monster from your hand deck or deck in face down defense position. You can't activate monster effects for the rest of the turn. So you can either set this for your opponent to trigger it in their turn, or so you can either wait for your opponent to trigger it in their turn, or you can trigger it in your turn, but you've got to be very careful then because you can't use any monster effects after that point. But again, really useful. You can get Pot of the Forbidden with this as well. Playing 2 Shaddoll Beasts, bit of draw power. Shaddoll Monster, obviously, good in there. 1 Dragon, again, bit of spell and trap destruction. It bounces its normal flip effect as target a card your opponent controls and return it to the hand. So again, good for getting rid of things that can't be destroyed, or spell and traps that you don't want there. 2 Falco. Again, can special summon itself when it's sent to the graveyard for a card effect. Useful in the way that you can bring your Shaddoll monsters back with it as well, just to open up your plays a little bit. 2 Hedgehog. So when this is sent to the graveyard for a card effect, you can add another Shaddoll monster from your deck to your hand. And when it's flipped face up on the field, you can add 1 Shaddoll spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. So again, useful for getting your fusions, your core. Playing 1 Squamata. This is just basically, so it's a flip, destroy a card on the field, a monster on the field, or when it's sent to the graveyard for a card effect, you can dump 1 Shaddoll card from your deck to your graveyard. So you can either dump a monster to get their effect, or you can dump core to get a spell or trap card back that might be in there. Multiple uses for that. We're using just 2 Spirit of the Fallwind. So when it's normal summoned, you can add 1 flip monster from your deck to your hand. So you do probably want to see this a little bit earlier. I know a lot of people use 3, but I think that the deck does enough without having to run triple. So yeah, you can get any of your flip effect monsters, which all the Shaddoll monsters are as well. So yeah, it really opens up your search. And then finally, main monster, Prediction Princess Tower Tray. You can ritual summon this card with Prediction Ritual once per turn during your end phase. You can special summon 1 flip monster from your hand or graveyard in face down defense position, and you can only use one of the following effects of Prediction Princess Tower Tray once per turn, and only once that turn. So during this player's turn, you can target 1 face down monster and change it to face up attack position, or you can target 1 face up monster and change it to face down defense position. So again, this is great just for manipulating your own flip summons. It's good for manipulating your opponent's plays. I think one of the gameplays I've got is against Cyber Dragon, and they go for the Galaxy Soldier to overlay to go straight into Cyber Dragon Nova, and then Cyber Dragon Infinity. However, I didn't have this on the field at the time. I had Book of Moon. But you see what I mean on the fact that when your opponent's trying to summon to make XYZs or synchros or something that's going to give you some grief, you can even target their monsters with the effect and either flip them down, flip them up, anything like that. It's absolutely fantastic. So main focus with the deck then is just to try and establish a board first of all that's going to be compromising and damaging to your opponent, and then trying to maintain that. So playing the deck in a way that if your opponent Regekis you or Dark Holes you, you're just not going to lose all of your advantage. Because going all in with this is pretty much exactly what it says on the tin. It's all in. It doesn't recover miraculously. It recovers better than it would without Shaddolls, quite honestly. But again, there's no miraculous recovery. Obviously the prediction ritual helps as well. We've been able to get the ritual out by banishing it from your graveyard. But what I would say is that it's not the fastest deck I've ever played by quite a long stretch, but when you have a board established and you are controlling plays in the game, it can give your opponent a really tough time, and that's why I quite like it. It's the fact that there is an element of control to it, and it just makes for an interesting build and quite an interesting game. So we're just going to speed through the extra deck. We're using 2 Shaddoll Shekinaga. It's an effect negator of special summon monsters. It's got 3k defense, 2/6 attack. Pretty good. It's fused with an Earth monster and Shaddoll monster. 2 Winder. Makes it so both players can only special summon once per turn, and it can't be destroyed by opponent's card effects. Obviously with the Shaddoll monsters as well, when they're sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Shaddoll spell or trap card back to your hand. So you can add the fusion that you fused with, or you can add core back if it's there, anything like that. So this is great for trying to restrict your opponent. Be very careful when you make this, because you can limit your own plays by leaving Winder on the field too early or when you're still trying to set up. So be careful with when you make Winder, I would say. But again, a great card. Much to my sadness, my deep sadness, El Shaddoll Construct is no longer with us and hasn't been for a while. But you know what you're gonna do. So we're playing a few synchros here. These are arguably flex spots. I would always play synchros in here, but it's up to you which ones you want to choose, which ones you think you can go into most often. I think the one thing I would choose is to put a 5 in here, because I find a lot of times where I can go into a 5, don't necessarily need to, but I can go into a 5, and even if I wanted to I can't because I don't have one in at the moment. But yeah, the ones we are playing, Arcanite Magician, so it's 1 tuner, 1 armor, non-tuner spellcaster type monsters, so the easiest way to get into this is with Falco and Shaddoll Beast. So you get 2 spell counters on it, and this card gains 1000 attack for each counter on it. You can remove 1 spell counter on it to destroy a card on the field. A card that your opponent controls size. Clearwing Synchro Dragon, so an effect negator. When another level 5 or higher monster activates its effect on the field, you can negate the activation if you do destroy it. And once per turn during either player's turn, when a monster effect is activated that targets exactly 1 level 5 or higher monster on the field and no other cards, you can negate the activation if you do destroy it. If this effect destroys a monster, this card gains attack equal to the destroyed monster's original attack until the end of this turn. So quite helpful in the fact of if you're playing against Blue Eyes, you know, anything that's high level monsters that activate effects, really helpful. And then obviously a better one to that is Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. You can make this, it's a little bit tougher and goes a little bit more into obscurity. Your harder games where you've got the opportunity, you'll generally find that you'll probably make this. So again, an effect negator, once per turn during the player's turn, when another monster effect is activated, you can negate the activation if you do destroy that monster. And if you do that, this card gains attack equal to the destroyed monster's original attack until the end of this turn. And if this card battles a level 5 or higher monster your opponent controls, during damage calculation this card gains attack equal to the current attack of the opponent's monster it is battling during that damage calculation only. So just basically can negate any monster effects. It's good for running over level 5 and higher monsters. Can't argue with that. Odd Eyes Meteor Burst Dragon. This is generally useful when you're playing against things like Cosmo. So basically, let's have a look. You can only you can target one pendulum. Oh, that's a pendulum zone effect. So you can only use this effect. So yeah, monsters in your opponent's possession cannot activate their effects during the battle phase as your main focus. That's what you want it for. 1-star Discharge Warrior, a little bit of draw power. Can attack all special summon monsters your opponent controls once each. Just there. Trisha Lazaar, obviously, is really easy to go into this. There are multiple times I've made Trish. Non-target removal, can't really argue with that. Abyss Dweller, because Burn and Abyss still exist, unfortunately. You know, things of that magnitude. If you're trying to lock your opponent out and you do control the field at that point, just sticking the Abyss Dweller there and activating it during their standby phase to make sure you don't get any nasty surprises. Always a great option for you. Shaddoll, just for spinning troublesome things away. Do make this quite a lot. 101, this is definitely a flex spot. I am so tempted to replace this for Gaga Cowboy just because I like it. And 101, if you're playing Shaddoll, in my opinion, a lot of the time 101 is not going to be a great deal of use to you. I'm playing one number 9 Dyson Sphere. So once per battle step, during your opponent's turn, if this card with an XYZ material is attacked, negate the attack. When this card is targeted for an attack, while it has no XYZ materials, you can target 2 monsters in your graveyard, attach those targets to this card as XYZ materials, and during your main phase 1 you can detach 1 XYZ material from this card. This card can attack your opponent directly this turn. Your opponent must control a monster with higher attack than this card to activate and resolve this effect. So, not something you're going to use all the time, granted, but it is there for an option. And there are times when you need to clear a little bit of field space, so using 2E9s to go into this will get you an extra monster zone as well. And then finally, Phantom Fortress. This card's great. Like, so again, 2 level 9s. You can activate one of these effects per turn. So banish 1 card of your opponent controls, banish 1 random card of your opponent's hand, banish 1 card for your opponent's graveyard, or banish the top card of your opponent's deck face up. So usually I use a banishment from field effect, sometimes a banishment from hand effect. Banishment from graveyard has been so-so, but again it's just an option. It's a banishing effect and it's non-targeting as well, which is fantastic. So yeah, all in all guys, that's it. I've had loads of fun building this and loads of fun playing with it as well. There's no harm in playing around with a few card choices, but this generally I think is the fine balance that I found. I would change some things in the extra deck, granted. However, you know, I generally find it works really well the way it is. I'm not saying you won't get some bricky hands, because that happens from time to time with everything, but it generally works those out really well. So nothing further to mention on that, guys. Again, just a reminder, if you do like the video and you do like our channel and our content, please like, comment, subscribe, even share with your friends and everything. We're trying to grow the community. We really appreciate any interaction from you guys. If you've got any feedback or anything you want to tell us, anything you want to mention about the deck, post it in the comment section below and someone will get back to you. Without further ado, I'm going to let you get on with the gameplays, and I'll see you next time. Peanut out. Peace, guys.